Hi, I'm Willem, and today we're going to chat about mentors and how we can grow by being mentored. Some people think mentors have to be a certain age, but a mentor is someone who can give great advice based on experience in a specific field. Even though older people tend to have more life experience, young people can also be mentors. Many of you can already help friends grow in areas where you have a lot of experience, but remember, if you're a mentor to someone, be a friend and don't try to be a parent or an authority figure. Have fun. Let's watch this.
Why was the math book sad? Because it had so many problems. Hi friends, it's Jen, and I'm so glad to be back with you today. I want to share a story with you about a spiritual mentor that I've had in my life. Now, first of all, what is a spiritual mentor? It's basically someone that helps you get to know Jesus more and more. So my spiritual mentor is someone named Leanne.
Hello.
She was my youth pastor when I was a kid, and she really helped me get to know Jesus more and more by asking me a lot of questions, by leading me through Bible study, and even taking me on a missions trip where I got to see Jesus at work in another country. I wanted to share this with you today because today's big idea is spiritual mentors help us know God better. I think we all need to have spiritual mentors in our lives. And in fact, the writer of Hebrews thinks so too. So in this series specifically, we are looking at Hebrews chapter 12. And first we talked about how following Jesus is like running a long distance race. And last time we talked about how God can use difficulties to make us stronger. So today we're going to pick up in chapter 12, verse 9. Let's check it out. Besides, we have all had human fathers who trained us. We respected them for it. How much more should we be trained by the Father of spirits and live? Our parents trained us for a little while. They did what they thought was best. But God trains us for our good. He does this so we may share in His holiness. No training seems pleasant at the time. In fact, it seems painful. But later on, it produces a harvest of godliness and peace. It does this for those who have been trained by it. Okay, I really like this part. We all have someone in our lives, whether it's a parent, a sibling, a teacher, a coach, someone who takes care of us and helps to train us. And while we might not always like that we don't get our own way, we can respect and love them for helping us in the growing up process. Well, if that's the case with human friends and family members, how much more true is it of the God of heaven who loves us? The verse goes on to say that our parents trained us for a little while. Your parents are still training you, and they are doing what they think is the very best for you. But as God trains us, He trains us in the most complete ways so that we can become more like Jesus. One of the ways God trains or corrects us is by placing spiritual mentors or leaders in our lives. Remember, spiritual mentors help us know God better. You see, these spiritual mentors aren't trying to make you a better person or more like themselves. They are trying to disciple you to become more like Jesus. In verse 11, it says that no training feels pleasant at the time. In fact, it can feel painful. Think about it this way. Remember when we talked about how following Jesus is like running a long-distance race? Well, when you're training to run a race, I have heard that it can be quite painful. And even when you're running, your muscles can hurt, your feet can get sore, you can get really thirsty and tired, but it's all worth it when you cross that finish line and have the satisfaction of finishing that race. It's the same thing in our spiritual race and being trained by God. Sometimes it can be painful. Maybe we confess something to someone that we've done, and maybe we're really embarrassed or sad by it. But then you can let it go, know God's forgiveness, and receive the peace that He brings. Through these things, God moves us closer to Him, and our spiritual mentors and leaders are there to help us move closer to God. And as we hang out with them and train with them, spiritual mentors help us know God better. Well, it was so great hanging out with you again today. I will see you next time.
Hey friends, turn to the person next to you
and answer the following questions before the time runs out.
Question time!
What is a spiritual mentor? Someone who helps you see spirits, someone who helps you with your homework, or someone who helps you know God better? Someone who helps you know God better. Who is a spiritual mentor in your life?
photo. How many times can you say the key verse before the photo is taken? Say it with me.
My child, think of the Lord's training as important. The Lord trains the one he loves. Hebrews 12, verses 5 and 6.
Get ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
We heard that God helps us grow through spiritual mentors, and I want to encourage you to connect with a leader at church if you have questions about Jesus. This leader may mentor you directly, or they could connect you with the right person who can regularly check in with you to talk about your relationship with Jesus and address any problems you may have in your life. We recently checked in with our friend Park, and he had something special to share. Watch this.
Hi, I'm Park. I really like biking, rollerblading, socializing with people, and climbing trees. My favorite experience when I'm rollerblading is probably going down hills, because then there's a lot of wind, you're going really fast, and you just feel really free. So when I first got my new pair of rollerblades, they don't have any brakes because they're like hockey rollerblades. And I was going on a walk with my mom and my dog decided to go right in front of me. And since I don't have any brakes, I had to bail. In my life, I have a couple mentors. My dad's best friend, Joel. So when my dad passed away, Joel really took like the father figure part, and he's always here for us. If we need something, we can ask him. If we want to talk to him, we can ask him questions. So Joel, he's funny, he's really loving, he's kind to people. So one day, not too long ago, last month, Joel actually came to my school, picked me up, and we went out for lunch. We went shopping for my mom's birthday. We cleaned her car, we got her a gift. For Joel, I see a lot of kindness and socializing in him. He's also an extrovert like me. Helping people and just like talking with people takes my mind off of things, like things that are going on in my house or things that are going on with like my friends or whatever. It just helps me take my mind off, and then I feel really free about it. I'm really an extrovert. I love hanging out with people, making plans, and I'm good talking with adults, kids, girls, and guys. So Jordan, he's our pastor. He talked to my dad a lot after church because my dad told him about his cancer and how he got sick and stuff. And he reached out to my dad saying, I see a lot of independence and leadership in your son and how he's really good with talking to people and helping. So he asked me if I wanted to do volunteer work for our church as a communications assistant. So taking pictures of events, posting things on their social medias. I see leadership in him because he's always really nice with people. He's also really good at helping and talking with people. And that's also stuff that I want to do. I think mentors or leaders can be older than you, your same age, or even younger than you, because you can learn from them. I think I can be a mentor or leader to other people because I'm helpful, I think I'm kind, and I just really like socializing. After some school events, I will clean up, and then some of my other classmates will also help. I'd like to be like my dad in some way, like being an extrovert and talking to people and just being kind and helpful. Jesus was always there for people and helping people and just talking them through bad times.
Park, thank you for sharing your story with us. It means so much. Park said something that really spoke to me, and that's that he sees traits and behaviors in his mentors' lives that he would like to live out in his life too. That means he was inspired by the way they live, and we could clearly see that they're showing the love of Jesus to people around them. So, no matter where we are in our relationship and growth with God, it's always a great idea to look for a spiritual mentor who can help us grow closer to God. Okay, it's time to break into our small groups, so let's see what this will look like in our lives.